Welcome to Cineshil 45. Today's topic: the soul of justice, philosophy of law, rule of law, and its emergence. The law before the law. Imagine a world with no courts, no written constitutions, no rights, only power. Might rule, monarchs decided. The poor had no voice, and the ruler's word was absolute. But over centuries, humanity began asking deeper questions. What is justice? What is law? Just about power. What makes a law valid or moral? Thus began the journey of the legal philosophy, the birth of rule of law, and the emergence of structured legal systems that would reshape civilizations. The philosophy of law, understanding its soul. Philosophy of law, also known as jurisprudence, is the moral and logical brain behind all legal systems. It seeks answers to fundamental questions. What is law? What is justice? Why should we obey the law? Can an unjust law be considered a true law? Let's explore three major schools of legal thought. Natural law theory. Key idea: law is based on morality and universe principles. Founders: Aristotle, Thomas Aquinas, Cicero. Natural law exists above human law. Even if rulers pass unjust laws, those are not true laws. Example: the Nuremberg trials after World War II. Nazi officials were judged for violating universal human laws, not just national laws. Legal positivism. Key idea: law is a command by a sovereign regardless of morality. Thinkers: John Austin, H.L.A. Hart, positivists separate law from morality. A law is valid if created through proper procedures. Example: even if a law is harsh, example taxation restrictions, it's valid as long as it follows due process. Legal realism. Key idea: law is what judges do in reality. Social context, human behavior, and real life outcomes. Realists argue that legal decisions are influenced by psychology, politics, and society, not just rules. Example: the US Supreme Court's decision often reflect changing social values. Part 2: emergence of the rule of law from tyranny to justice. Ancient roots: Hammurabi's code, Babylon 1754 BCE, one of the first codified laws, but the king was above the law. Ancient India, Dharma guided rulers, but often interpreted by elite Brahmins. Roman law gave us the idea of jurisprudence and civil courts. Medieval era. Struggles begin. In Europe, kings ruled by divine right. The idea of rule of law was born as a challenge to absolute power. Magna Carta 1215, the first major breakthrough. English nobles forced King John to sign a document saying even the king is a subject to law. Birth of legal accountability and due process. Enlightenment thinkers: Montesquieu, separation of powers. John Locke, government must protect life and liberty and property. Rousseau, law should reflect the general will of the people. These thinkers shaped modern democracies and planted the seeds for constitutionalism. Part 3: model rule of law, meaning and pillars. Today, the rule of law is a cornerstone of civilized societies, but what does it actually mean? Four core principles. Supremacy of law. No one is above the law, not even presidents or kings. Equality before law. rich or poor, all are equal in the eyes of justice. Accountability of government, leaders must follow legal processes. Legal certainty and transparency, laws must be clear, publicized, and applied fairly. Global spread. United Kingdom developed common law traditions. USA Constitution ensures checks and balances. India rule of law is enshrined in its constitution and protected by judicial review. International law organizations like the United Nations, ICJ, and ICC enforce legal standards across borders. Challenges to the rule of law. Even in modern times, the rule of law is often under threat. Authoritarianism, leaders changing constitutions to hold power. Corruption, justice being bought and sold. Judicial delays, justice delayed is justice denied. Digital age, AI surveillance and cyber laws pose new questions: who writes the laws for machines? Part 5, The Future of Law, Philosophical Reflections. AI and Law. Can a robot judge? Can algorithms make fair legal decisions? Legal scholars now debate the ethics of legal automation. Law and morality in crisis. Laws are being tested during wars, pandemics, climate crises. The world asks, should law protect nations or humanity? Towards a just society, law must not be just a book of rules, but a tool for justice, equity, and compassion. As Mahatma Gandhi said, an unjust law is itself a species of violence. The law as a living spirit. Law is more than codes and codes, it is the living spirit of a civilization evolving with every generation. The philosophy of law gives its depth, the rule of law gives its structure, and the emergence of law is the story of human courage, of choosing reason over the power, justice over tyranny. As we look to the future, the law must remain not just a shield of the strong, but the voice of the voiceless. Thus, we have discussed the soul of justice, philosophy of law, rule of law, and its emergence. Be harmony, be in peace. It is one of the most important part of our modern society. Thank you. Good day. Goodbye. Everyone has to think about it. We must know. Please like Cineshell 45. I am trying to make it best.